what's up guys, Will from Lockdown Sound here today, and today we're going to be doing another part to our dog training series videos. He's going to lay down, I guess, but as you guys remember in our last video we talked about sitting. Today we're going to be talking about stay or hold. Now I use the word hold because in the blind a lot of people actually use the word stay, and I was hunting with a group and a couple dogs before, and everyone was talking about should we stay in the blind, should we stay, or should we call the hunt? And the dog kept getting kind of confused and whining because so many people were using the word stay. So I use the word hold. I look at him and I'll tell him hold and he'll stop moving. I got to say his name first. It's just how he's trained, unfortunately. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the tips and tricks for hold. Alright, for the purpose of this video, I've got Mozzie on a dog stand here, so he's a little bit elevated. He's been trained on this ever since he was a puppy, so he understands that the dog stand's kind of his working spot. It's his I gotta listen spot. Now for some reason there's a lot of ducks and geese flying overhead today, so he's a little distracted. He's been rolling around, he's been sniffing for geese and everything like that, so we're gonna work as best as we can for the purpose of this video. And remember, your dog's still a puppy. They're allowed to, they're allowed to mess up a little bit. They're allowed to have some fun, so work with them and understand that you're basically working with a toddler. You can't expect him to do it right all the time. But for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna have him get on the dog stand, and I'm going to tell him hold. And if he doesn't stand back up, he gets a treat. And then essentially, what I'm going to do is every time I tell him hold, after a couple times of him getting it, I'm going to take a step back. And then I'm going to come back and give him a treat and tell him good job. And I'm going to, every time he is doing good with a step, I'm going to go a little bit further and a little bit further. And eventually, he's going to realize, he's going to connect the dots, this means don't move. Now, it might take a while at first, they don't know what the word means at first, so it might take a step back and then tell them to hold and then treat. And you might have to do that for 10 minutes one day and then stop it, An important thing to remember is that the dogs have puppy brain, all right? They can't focus for 2 hours at a time. They can focus for... Place. Good boy, sit. So what we're going to do here is tell them to hold, take a step back. Actually, I'll go to this way. Take a step back and then give them a treat. So hold. Hold. And since he's a little more familiar with the process, what I'm going to do is actually kind of toss a treat and catch it a couple times, make sure he's not going to jump down after it. That went down my shirt, that's kind of gross. And then I'm going to step back and tell him, good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. And he likes head scratches. He doesn't like butt scratches right now or belly rubs, so he gets head scratches. And then I'm going to tell him, hold. And this time I'm going to take 2 steps back. And he's going to watch me. And I'm going to come back and tell him, good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. And I'm going to repeat the same spot over and over again until, Mozzie, hold, until I can step back. And I'll wait 30 seconds. And then I'm going to step back into the picture and tell him, good boy. That's a good boy. And eventually, after a couple days go by, and again, even if they're doing it good for, 10 steps back perfectly the first time, call it good there because you don't want to overwork them and then they'll get frustrated and forget it. What you want to do is end on a good note. So if this was my first day doing this with Mozzie, I would take 5 steps back and then stop. Mozzie. Oh, there was a treat on his dog stand. And I'd tell him hold. And then maybe the 4th or 5th day I'd say hold. And then what I would do is I'd walk around a little bit. And I'd tell him hold. And I'd make sure he doesn't move his feet. I'm okay with him moving his head. I'm okay with him keeping his eyes on me because that's what I want. But his feet should stay at one place. Hold. And that's perfect when you walk all the way around them and their feet don't move and they're being good boys and girls like that. So, it's pretty simple to teach them to hold. Load out. Load out is get off the stand or get out of the truck. It's basically unelevate yourself. So, essentially, get on my knees here so you guys can see me again. It's pretty easy to teach them how to hold, work on them with it. It's going to take a couple days. It might take a few weeks, and that's totally fine. He was a pretty good learner as a puppy, and it took a couple weeks. So, it's something you're going to have to get used to. But at the end of the day, it is one of the most essential commands that any duck dog should know. And it's one of those things that you got to teach them. Basically, it's that simple. Take a step back, tell them to hold, work with them. Eventually, The next video we're going to talk about is heeling, and eventually you're going to be able to teach them from a heel to a hold, from a hold to a heel, and it's going to be great when you see it start to connect all together. But for now, you're just working on holding after they have sit down. And tell them sit. When they sit, give them a treat, and then tell them hold, give them another treat, back up, come back, and then give them another treat. Basically, they should be getting 3 treats every single time that they work the hold command. When you tell them sit, notify them they're doing good and they're listening, which means they get a treat. Positive reinforcement. And then hold right away. They didn't move, give them a treat. They're staying still. And that dog's going to say, oh, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because it's going to get me more snacks. And then you take a step back and come back and they say, oh, okay, I don't have to follow my dad or mom around, but I do have to listen to them and I still get treats at the end of the day. If your dog's not food motivated, he wasn't for the longest time, get him better treats. We would cook up the shitty cuts of venison, you know, all the silver skin pieces, and I'd chop it into little bite-sized pieces, maybe half the piece of a normal-sized steak, and I'd give it to him, and he loved him. And that's kind of what got him to be food motivated a little bit more, and I kind of learned off that all dogs are food motivated, you just have to have the food they like. So keep working with them, and they'll get it. Good luck, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. 5 to 10 minutes max at a time for most working dog puppies. So make sure you're not getting frustrated with them. It's going to take a couple weeks of practice to get it. I think he took probably about 2 weeks of daily work with this, you know, just 5-10 minutes a day, or, you know, 5-10 minutes twice a day, and they'll end up getting it. But I promise you, this is an essential command for any duck dog. You all know that. So let's go ahead and work the dog. Good boy.